Coming up on today's After News, The Rock is injured.
WWE's Sexyy to wrestle for Marigold.
WWE respond to Sexy Red's arrest.
And MVP reveals the original Dream Hurt Business lineup.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the After News. Terrifying story to start with. The Rock is injured. Thankfully, it doesn't look like this is going to take him out of doing any wrestling further down the road. But the former WWE champion, star of WrestleMania 40, and just overall GOAT.
Star of WrestleMania 41, probably.
Yeah. Has revealed on Instagram he suffered an injury, an elbow injury, relatively minor, although I wouldn't want to have it, whilst filming his new The Smashing Machine film, of course. Of course, he's playing MMA legend Mark, completely transformed, if you've seen any pictures of him. I mean, he's still massive, but you know what I mean?
Looks incredible, yeah.
And he shows off his elbow on this Instagram video from his kitchen or wherever it is, and his elbow is the size of a cantaloupe, basically. Big old bulge on there. And he shared this with the message: functional medicine, holistic medicine, modern medicine. I'm an advocate for it all when we get banged up, but don't sleep on the power of the healing Terramana hooch. Sunshine and pain, smashing them up, soul man.
Everything's an advert.
But yes, a minor injury to his elbow with a big old bump on it. But from all the reports that I've read on this, no one's saying, that might affect plans going forward for Rock's appearances. I don't know, when do you expect to see him back in WWE?
No, I would wager maybe Royal Rumble to WrestleMania season. I don't know what you think about that. First of all, the more we talk about the story, the more I think genuinely it was an advert for his tequila. And success to win, you win again. But let's talk about
delicious. Don't feed it to your children, though.
Don't give it to your kids. Don't even give it to Gallus. The Bloodline storyline at the moment seems to be leading the direction of The Rock pulling the strings while Solo Sikoa pretends it's Roman Reigns. So I would anticipate that starts to get sort of like figured in around War Games season. But The Rock working Survivor Series, I don't think he gets out of bed for anything more than a SmackDown in February. So I wouldn't expect him to feature quite then. Rock and Cody feels a lock. Currently 41, isn't it?
I hope so. I would love to see The Rock win the world title.
People's champion versus actual people's champion.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I was quite vociferous about how Cody needed to finish the story and was completely justified in my reaction to the conclusion to WrestleMania 39 and what happened at WrestleMania 40, because as you know, I'm the only real wrestling journalist there is out there. But now that's all happened, I want to see my favourite wrestler ever win a world title, please. I don't care if it's Cody, I don't care. Sorry, mate. Out of the way. It's Vegas. It's The Rock. We're going to be there, hopefully. Where would we stay, actually?
I'll probably at the beautiful Oyo Hotel and Casino, where if you don't want to get one of The Rock's insanely overpriced tequilas, you can get a $2 beer while you play $1 blackjack.
Hey, and you could come share that with a Zoa energy drink that I had at Wale Mania, which was genuinely absolutely class.
This video is not sponsored, we promise. We're just talking.
I'm just a big fan of The Rock.
Just a big fan of products.
Get well soon, Dwayne. Everyone's rooting for you. All of us here at WhatCulture.
Do we think he passed Cody just some salt and lemon? Just have a tequila backstage? No, don't break my
You
heart.
know what's in their hand. It's always an advert, whatever I'm doing.
From The Rock not wrestling anytime soon, we go to Sexyy. He will be wrestling for Marigold this summer. Of course, this is Rossy Ogawa's new promotion. There has been covert and not so covert links with WWE from its very launch, very inception. Julia is currently with them ahead of her making the move into NXT as teased at Stand and Deliver, and seemingly still being teased for Roxanne Perez now on television. But yeah, there are talents moving the other way as well. Sexyy made a surprise appearance on the big screen at the last Marigold event at Korakuen Hall. This was to lay out a challenge to Utami Hayashita, which was directed to the screen by Rossy Ogawa. Sexyy wasn't announced previously ahead of this, and the match is set for the Summer Destiny show at Sumo Hall. Tokyo Sports had a bit more information on this. They said that the video was filmed after the June 10th Monday Night Raw, where Io went a little bit mad at Damage Katara.
Yes.
And
things need to change, she said, didn't
Rossi Ogawa offered information to Tokyo Sports to say that the negotiations for this began in March and then were, quote, accelerated when he and Julia visited WWE during WrestleMania 40 weekend. He believes that WWE were game for the request on account of the Julia connection. Io Sky, of course, has worked for Ogawa in Stardom in the past, pre-WWE. And WWE are obviously going to work those Japan shows in summer following the Stardom event on July 13th. So expect a bit more corporate synergy. This feels just like the start of something rather than a one-off.
There's a lot of this now, aren't they? TNA, of course.
Yeah.
They're just opening up. UFC stars potentially coming in.
Indeed.
Exciting times.
I think it's one of them things, isn't it? Whereas under Vince McMahon, he was always very much WWE. Under Triple H, even within NXT, he was keen to open the window a crack, but under TKO, it's money. If there is money to be made, not just from obscenely expensive tickets for European B shows, but for interaction with other promotions, they will go and chase that cash.
Triple H just wants people to get along, mate.
Look, all cynicism aside, if it's to the benefit of the wider fan base, great. But as we always say, be mindful when WWE are swimming in your waters, because more often than not, they are the biggest shark of the lot.
Yes. I had a slight concern about this with Io. Really excited by this match, by the way, and excited to see what Io Sky does next, along with Damage Control. So I actually contacted Ogawa myself to say what's going on there. How's that going to work? She's obviously doing stuff in WWE. I wasn't aware about the Japan shows and stuff like that. And Ogawa told me she's on a break. So thanks, Rossi, for that one. I worked really hard for that.
You really got a long way around to get there. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Friends is still in the zeitgeist.
It's never not topical. It's always getting a rerun. It's in syndication.
Yeah.
As our American viewers would say.
Can we get in syndication? We get absolutely paid if that happens.
Well, just WhatCulture?
Yeah.
We've got enough videos on YouTube now that they can just start putting some shoot telly. I would love that. My folks would finally be proud of me.
Yeah, exactly. Right, let's talk about Sexyy Red. Sexyy Red. I should say it properly, actually, because obviously big news coming out sort of after NXT Battleground, but this happened prior to it. TMZ actually reported that Red was arrested for disorderly conduct in New Jersey the day before Battleground as an altercation involving multiple people at Newark Liberty International Airport. Others were charged with a more serious charge of assault. There was even video and what have you.
Not a great scene, is it?
But regarding Sexyy Red's arrest, according to Fightful Select, those in NXT and WWE that they spoke to did not expect this to prevent from Red appearing on WWE programming in the future. As of Sunday night, there were plans for future NXT appearances from the rapper, but the arrest obviously did come as a surprise to officials who was unaware the incident took place the night prior to NXT Battleground, so she'll probably be in a little trouble for that. But she seems to have fit in very well with the weirdness that is NXT.
Yeah, she'll probably be hoping that she can style this one out, but as we've seen sort of historically, I think you're right in your assessment there that it won't bode well that this didn't come up. I don't think WWE as a brand will appreciate kind of being wrong-footed by this story, but had they been
Good
told...
weekend, Sexy. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely fine. How was the air flight over? Yeah, probably incident-free, if anything. Probably just stayed out of trouble, got an early night. They'll probably not love not necessarily being on the up and up with that, not least if you consider obviously how she featured into the show, how she's factored into their kind of social media output, because obviously in dealing with a massive artist in 2024, you want to get every benefit of that artist and what audience they can potentially bring in. So from
Seems to have worked as well for the numbers.
This is it. From Sexyy Red's point of view, she'll have been only too happy for this story to arrive now rather than on Sunday morning when they could have potentially maybe pulled her from the show last minute. So there was stories breaking a couple of weeks ago, and we kind of made this link already, that they were kind of seeing a bit of a symbiotic thing between Sexyy Red and NXT in the same way Poppy did with the black and gold brand. So she does feel like she could already become a mascot pop star for the show.
Yeah.
Whether or not they'll want this heat to die down first, I guess.
And I think they weren't going to use Sexyy Red immediately after NXT Battleground. It's going to be one of those ones where she's going to pop up in a few months' time and probably stand and deliver a yo-yo next year.
I would imagine so. Should we talk about the Hurt Business?
Yeah!
There are very few acts that make people nostalgic for the Thunderdome, and the Hurt Business are one of them. An MVP brought them back to life in some conversation on X last night, when he revealed what his plans were for the Hurt Business, given the perfect choice, and it ties to a very relevant story and indeed wrestler right now. He tweeted, true story, when we were forming the Hurt Business, I asked for both Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. We were told we could only have one, that's presumably by WWE management. We chose Cedric because we felt he needed our association more than Ricochet did. I always thought Ricky O would be a star on his own. I assume he means Ricochet and not Ricky Ortiz from ECW with the rally towel there. But he followed up with more when people asked more questions, and he says, quote, me, Bobby and Shelton discussed both Trinity, of course Naomi, and Bianca as an addition, but they had other plans for both of them. So yeah, obviously there were sort of always plans for an expanded Hurt Business in MVP's mind that they were never able to get over the line. It's kind of great and as fondly remembered as the quartet were.
Interesting to see what the Hurt Business would have looked like under a Triple H regime rather than the stop-start Vince McMahon booking.
There was an aborted reboot, if you recall. They always seem to want Bobby Lashley in particular to feel like he was at a bit of a distance from them. And any given week he was either beating them up or sort of saying, you suck now, we're friends. It was always a bit half in, half out, wasn't it?
Shelton and I think I chatted to Shelton actually about it last year, and he was really proud of what they managed to achieve. Yeah. It would be interesting to see what it would have looked like with Ricochet in there as well, but I think Cedric did a stellar job.
He did. I will say, to your point about the Triple H era, Triple H likes the stables that have men and women in order to sort of spread it across the divisions, and I think Naomi or Bianca Belair allowing the Hurt Business to fold into the women's division would have been something we would have seen now. MVP, look, we plugged the Rock's products enough. MVP did mention across these tweets, which of course did gain a bit of traction, that he intends to tell more stories about stuff like this on an upcoming podcast he's going to do, where he did say that he'll try not to name names to protect the innocent, but there should be some fun stories to come. I wonder, for example, what his side of a story of a hotel fight with a certain Learning Tree wrestler might be, as different to the one reported due to certain sourcing from a C. Irvine. Don't know. Yeah. So check out MVP's podcast if and when any of that drops.
After you've checked out ours, I should watch WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from.
Of course.
I appear to have misplaced our Twitter questions. Oh, that's right. I left them in the morning news video, which you can go and check out right now. Like, share, subscribe, let us know your thoughts on everything we've discussed in the comments section below. And if you want to watch the morning news video, guess what? Boom! It's right here. See you later.
Yeet.